I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner.
Come on.
Today on Coach's Corner, we feature many different guests that come here from the boxing world and everyday life, but today we definitely have a unique guest coming to us in the boxing world, and he's coming to us from Montreal, so we really appreciate him coming out today. We have David Caissy, who is the managing director from Leone Boxing out of Montreal. He is stopping through today. He's got many other stops from gyms and everything else. So welcome to Coach's Corner today. Welcome, David Caissy from Leone Boxing. We appreciate you guys coming out here today and making time on your trip. I know you got a lot of stops to make on your way to Florida, but thank you for coming out. And
thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And
it's amazing.
We've been talking a little bit, for people who don't know, and for me, I've heard of the Leone brand in boxing, gloves, protective gear, headgear, apparel now. A lot of fighters being featured. Amanda Serrano is one. When I put my hand in the gloves and touched it, this is a brand that is really, really high level. So I'm going to turn it over to David a little bit to kind of tell us a little bit about Leone. I mean, they've been in business out of Italy since 1947. But David, tell us a little bit more about Leone, and then we could kind of get into your involvement with it.
Well, so Leone started in, like you said, in 1947 by Orlando Leone, who was a manufacturer of soccer balls. He had a leather company, and he got commissioned to do a pair of gloves for a fighter. He did. They loved them so much that they commissioned tons more. And then he started getting into boxing and became a fanatical boxing fan. So decided to turn his focus from soccer to boxing, and then history was made there. And so basically they, again, in Europe, they're established. It's a big company, in Spain also. 7 years ago, my partner, in a different partner at the time, decided to bring in Leone to North America. They're based in Montreal. His partner, that's no longer there, was a kickboxing champ from Italy. And so it started with an idea, talking to the family, who's still family-run, by Daniele Leone, it's his grandfather that started the company. And they brought Leone to Montreal, and it's been a good thing ever since, and it's going up.
It's growing.
It's growing fast now.
It's growing very fast. And the one dynamic here, which we kind of touch on, right? And I talk about this with a lot of people, right? A lot of questions, right? And I'm going to ask you this also, right? You just made a point about Leone. They started out in soccer, and and this is boxing, right? How does boxing find us, right? Boxing finds you. It's not you wake up every morning and say, I'm going to be involved in boxing.
Right.
It's somehow people gravitate to the sport at every level, not only fighters, and the sport just entrenches you and just takes you deep into the sport. So I'm going to ask you, how did boxing find you?
That's a great question. I was 7 years old, maybe. My dad took me to a place called the Center Paul Sauvé in Montreal, and I watched my first fight. And I'll never forget it. The smell, it was just a cloud of cigarette smoke over the ring.
When you could smoke in arenas.
Yeah, that's right. And the fighters were the Hilton brothers, Matthew and Davey
Hilton.
That's
Jimmy
right.
Hilton.
That's right. Davey, Matthew, and what was the other one? Alex. Yeah. And it was Matthew that night and Davey. I saw Davey. And that was it. I was hooked. I was like, whoa, this is great. I was a hockey fan. I liked wrestling and the golden days of the WWF. Yeah. But boxing came and got me. And then from there, discovered the Brawl in Montreal in 1980, Leonard Duran. And then I became a huge Roberto Duran fan. And started fighting a bit, started going to the gym and doing all that. And then, I was hooked. But here's the thing you don't know. So by the time I was 15 years old, my mom bought me a guitar. I started playing guitar. It came easy for me. So I ended up being a professional musician for 25 years. We're in the Hall of Fame in Canada with the band there. And yeah, that's what I sort of put boxing aside for a bit.
Yeah.
I always, kept watching Gotti and then all the, And then in 2017, went back to a gym just because I had a calling.
Draws us back.
I went back in it.
Draws us back.
And I quit music. I'm full-time since then. I went back into it. And I that's all I do. Yeah.
Well, it consumes you.
It consumes you.
You know what? And for a lot of people that really don't know, okay, the culture of boxing in the Montreal area is big.
It's
like,
huge,
everybody's, here in the United States, everybody says, oh, it's hockey, the Canadians and but the culture of boxing. So, you talk about the Hilton family, and I have an association to people who knew them.
Yep.
I don't know them, but I know of the history of them, right? They were like the first family up there of boxing, really, if you think about it. But, Arturo Gatti, I mean, you can go down a list of other fighters. I don't want to leave anybody out. But
Otis Grant.
I've been, Otis Grant. I've been to bouts where I haven't been to one in Montreal, okay? I have not. But I was at the Golovkin-David Lemieux fight with people from Montreal, and to watch the fans come down there.
Yeah.
I mean, hardcore boxing fans. They know more about boxing than most people that are like, and it's kind of amazing. So when when Leone logistically, was that the idea to land in Montreal, or what was the idea?
The idea was yes, it was because of what you said. The fan base for boxing, for combat sport, is big in Montreal. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And then they set up in the West Island of Montreal, and it was there's room. They figured there was room to grow as a company, as a brand, and they were right. Like they made a good choice there by having it there.
How long have you been in Montreal now? You got a retail spot up there, which is a little different than we see here in the States, right? Like a lot
store.
of the boxing companies, not, maybe in Vegas and some of the little spot offs you might see a little, but mostly everything is online today. There's no real walk-in. Everlast is not in New York anymore. And when they were in factories. They did not have a retail site.
Right.
But they were big in stores, when the Models and some of the department stores carried their brand. You guys actually have a walk-in site to go to.
Yeah, it's a big store, and you know what? Every week people come in. I always get a person that go, "My God, I can't believe this! Like, there's an actual store, and it's great. Like, it's huge. It's sort of we wanted to make it an experience that you just because if you're a boxer or a coach, you go in for something. You know what you want. You don't go shopping. You kind of know what you want. So when they come into our store, they're like, holy crap, there's like 15 different kinds of Velcro gloves. There's 10 different kinds of lace-ups. There's, oh my God, so it's an experience. And we sit with them and we talk and we do the whole thing and, suggest what they should have and based on what their needs more than based on, I don't work out of commission, it's I want the fighter to have what works for him. So
understandable.
But
now, company's still based in Italy.
Yep.
We were talking about this. You were kind of sharing some of what is their, standard of, what is their belief of doing business now? Because, now being in this, and we'll talk a little bit more, the competition there is. You're not. You've been in business a long time, but you're a little behind some of the bigger companies here in the boxing world now. So what makes you guys different than anybody else? How about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Leone still does things the old school way. In-person meeting, like me coming here to meet you today, it's important to develop that kind of relationship. And the quality is there, and it's very important. Some of the big name fighters we were talking about earlier that have used our gloves, we don't just make a pair of gloves and send it to them and it's like, thank you, that's it. Like sometimes we'll send more because they'll say, hey, you know what, can you maybe work something on here? I'd like to have this. Or we'll just go the extra mile because the quality is handmade in Italy. A lot of the products, it's thought of like carefully. That's the way we still do it, and like I said, it's still family run, from Orlando, Leone to the father to now the kids that are owning it, and I call there at least once a week, and it's like a big family, it's incredible.
Yeah, well, we were talking previously about how the gloves are made and how important that is in. A fighter makes his money with his hands.
Yep.
Whether you're a male or female, if you're fighting, as an amateur, as a professional, your hands are what you make your money with. So it is important to make sure that, like I talk to fighters, I see fighters in the gym, they'll come in, they're hitting the bag, their hands are not wrapped, or they got, like, how come you're hitting the bag like that? What if you tweak it the wrong way?
Right.
That's what you make your money with, right?
That's right.
So protect your hands. So, when you guys start working with a fighter, fighters are superstitious. They're gonna, they all have their little, in things that they want, that they worry about, and okay, I need this. My hand has to feel this way. I put a glove on by my left hand first, my right hand. Today, we don't see companies anymore at any level that are working on that one-on-one.
Yep.
You order online, or you get a representative. Yeah, we'll ship the gloves out
That's
to
right.
you. They are what they are.
That's right.
You know as well as I do. Put your hand in a pair of gloves. No, this feel good. This one. I mean, the ones that you brought today to show us that you're going to hand off to somebody. Those gloves, I don't even know if I want to fight in those gloves. It's a piece of work. But talk to us about. You're working with guys making gloves. Some of the differences you see with your gloves with fighters today, because I don't think everybody knows. Not every glove is the same. It's not cookie cut.
Yeah.
And
there's not one mold for all of them.
Tell us some of the things that the difference of what a fighter may want in a glove, because now you're seeing fighters going from 120 pounds to heavyweights.
Yeah, that's right.
Not everybody, a heavyweight punch is different than a 120 pounder, right? So the protection level has to be different. So how do you guys, find that form that works, that formula that works for each fighter?
By talking to the fighter, their coach, that's very important, and we'll get a trace of their hands sent to Italy, and they literally have like the guys there working, in the office making the gloves. And they say, okay, well, sometimes some fighters want the thumb a little bit more padded, some want like a foam on top of the horsehair, because we're known for a puncher glove, so it's a little softer. For heavyweights, it's amazing, but sometimes like for maybe like a lightweight or even middleweight, they like maybe have a bit of padding in it also, so we'll do custom to what they want. The thing that makes the difference with us is if you call us and you want a pair of gloves for your fight, it's not made already. It's not just sitting there and say, okay, which color do you want? Okay, we'll put a print of your name on the thumb. We don't have it yet. We'll have it in a couple days, and we'll make it right there on the spot.
Made to order.
Made to order.
So what's the lead time on that? If somebody calls you up and says, hey, David, we're fighting. In most fights, are there is time, right? So you'll know, okay, we're fighting in a month, we're fighting in 2, maybe we're fighting in 3. We want to use the lead. What's the lead time to do that?
You know what? A week, 2 weeks. We've had an instance that had Riyadh, Anthony Joshua against Ngannou. They were both wearing Leone, and the week before we got the call that Anthony wanted a pair of gloves. And I do believe Mr. Leone directly flew to Riyadh to bring him the gloves the day before the fight or something.
Yeah, because at that point,
At that point, it was like, oh my God. And it's AJ. So,
Right.
But yeah, it's very person to person, like very personable, like, on the phone talking, even going there and, making sure that it's the best for the fighter, because a lot of fighters have hand injuries as well, right? Like
they've been fighting. They've been fighting for years, right?
Exactly.
And whether they do or they don't, right? Superstition, right?
Yeah.
You don't want that hand injury while he's wearing your glove.
So we want to make sure that if your left hand or your right hand has something, we'll do something for that, extra padding, extra something, all within the guidelines, of course, and to each his requirements. So
now.
Yep.
Question: why the horsehair? Tell us what you start to see this. Like, people don't realize horsehair gloves. It just you hear fighters when they know the difference right off the rip. What is the idea with that, and what makes that work in a glove that makes it a better glove for everybody?
The feel, it's a puncher glove, right? So you could do more damage. We were at the WBA convention in Miami a month ago, I'd say now, and we had a booth there, and people were so impressed with the gloves and the horsehair, like a real boxing glove. It is important that the fighters are protected, and it's important that the opponent is, both fighters are protected. But at the same time, Leone's still old school, and they make a real glove with horsehair, and and like I said, like it depends with each fighter. Sometimes they'll ask for a polyurethane foam, in it or something. But it's comfortable, and it's almost like you're putting in a glove, like it's so comfortable, right? And the damage that it does too. You feel every shot.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Feel every shot.
So you talk about everything being handmade. It's not being mass produced on an assembly line like that. When it goes through that, right? Now we see analytics, computer science, companies out there now utilizing technology about protection, about impact, and about safety. You guys are an old school company, handed to generations of people and families that work. How does that come into play with now the nuances of technology and everything else? Because you got people, you're hand making those things. We're not a lot of tradespeople out there doing handmade stuff anymore.
I know.
It's unique.
Yeah, it's very unique. They have the line Leone Sport that's handmade, and then there's the Leone 1947 that's mass produced within the guidelines and within the new formats of everything, right? Big padding, big,
made to last, that if you're working out in the gym, it's not falling, it's not, look.
That's right.
Fight gloves are fight gloves.
That's
They're not made to go out and hit the bag over and over and over again. They're, you fight, maybe you can get a couple of sparring sessions out of them after that, but then after that, it's kind of done. People don't understand.
You hang them on your wall.
You hang them on the wall, right? There's levels to the gloves and everything else. What do you see out there right now? And I'm not looking to trash anybody or name names or anything like that, because, there are a lot of good companies out there right now. What do you think makes the difference with you guys? And you coming into the sport now, look, there's companies out there, Everlast is a name that goes back in boxing
a long time,
right? One of the first original companies
pioneer,
making gloves, right? Unfortunately, their business plan has changed. And there's other companies that have come in and evolved with the times. What do you think for Leone? What is the niche for Leone in the boxing world?
Our product is still leather.
Yeah.
Even like the mass produced stuff for the, everyday people, whether it's box fit, or whether it's a 14-year-old kid that's like, I want to try this game. our gloves are still leather, which
Yeah.
is to me is like, oh my god, we
But
really?
listen, the gloves you showed
It's
me
crazy.
at the gym,
Yeah.
like I was I had talked to you after. I don't even want to use those. I wouldn't even want to use. Like I just want to put those things on the shelf and say they're just like that's like a piece of art. It's not a boxing glove. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
oh man, if I use this thing, it's gonna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just you could see how well it's made out there.
Yeah. But that's it. I mean, for the line, our gear is still leather. We have a couple of gloves that are synthetic, of course. Beginners, beginner gloves. But I mean, you start at $120, and all of a sudden you got some leather gloves already, and it's like, wow, really, already? And so, and I mean, we go from $50 gloves to $1,000 gloves, right? We do that. We can do it all, and
So
it's really cool.
You're out there right now. You were at the Joshua Jake Paul.
Yep.
You're out there on the ground working, trying to get,
Yep.
the brand out there more and more.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. What is, as big as boxing is, it is a tight knit community.
It
It's
is
hard
very-
to crack the egg sometimes.
Very, yeah.
Especially when you have newer products. Old school trainers. They have their relationships. They're hard. Some of the newer fighters. There is competition out there.
Yep.
You had two fighters on Joshua Jake
Yep.
Paul using your product.
Yep.
Great. What's the response, and what is it? When you come in the room, against everybody out there right now, what is the response now?
You know what? It's been incredible. And as soon as I say I am David from Leone, the eyes just go boop. As soon as I say that, so it's been great. We did a show in Verona, New York. At Top Rank had a show there, and we had our fight. We had someone, Robson Consecal.
At the Turning Stone Casino.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he was wearing our gloves. So their trainers invited me to the fight. And I met Stitch and everybody there. And they were just, they wanted to talk to me so much about the gloves. Okay, we saw them backstage. Oh my God, those are incredible gloves. Like, what is this? Like, what? And so that's what I'm noticing. Joshua Paul was the same thing. Talked to Teofimo, a couple of people there they were so interested in talking because there hasn't been a representative for Leone on the road. Like other companies have guys there all the time. I saw Elvis Grant when I was there. Said hi to Elvis. He was super nice, and he's a friend of Leone guys, and so
we were talking previously. Like I assimilate you guys to like Ferrari.
Yeah,
it's a brand out there, right? It's not people know it, right? But not everybody's going to walk into that Ferrari dealership to look.
That's right. That's right.
And say, or maybe be a little intimidated to go up to a sales rep and say, hey, But you guys you're big, but you're not out there in everybody's face mass producing. So is it that uniqueness that you think people are intrigued by?
I think so.
Amongst the quality, obviously.
The quality and the uniqueness, and that's a great analogy, the Ferrari thing, because that's exactly what it is. Not to say that Leone has only high-end, untouchable products.
No, I looked at, when we started
don't.
talking, I looked at your webpage, right? So you have a variety from beginners.
Oh, yeah.
Beginners, which I was pretty impressed with because when I first saw the gloves, before we started talking, I'm like, these guys don't make everyday gloves. They're not making bad gloves, and they're not making gloves for the person walking in the gym that takes a box fit class or something like that. And then I started looking, and I'm like, wow, this stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the everyday person could kind of use it.
Absolutely. We have such a wide variety, and yeah, exactly. The everyday people could use it. We have gloves that fit. We have 4-ounce gloves for kids.
Yeah.
6-ounce. I have at the store right now a 24-ounce glove for these super massive heavyweights. And there's a guy that bought a 24-ounce glove yesterday, and I'm just looking at him, and he was a big guy. He's like, oh, that's what I need. People won't spar with me. I'm like, by all means. That's the things is, So yeah, we pride ourselves in variety, quality, and customer service. Being able to talk and sit down and say, "What do you need? What do you want?" You know?
I mean, when we started talking, you guys pick up the phone.
Yeah, right away.
Pick up the phone.
Yep.
And which is kind of rare in these days
I
right
know.
now. But you have a dynamic of you have the retail store.
Mhm.
And you're trying to branch out into the boxing world. How do you balance that? Because you're not just sitting there like a store in the mall where you got traffic coming through all day long. You might, when fights happen, we know it's busy, right? So
Yep.
everybody's running at the last minute sometimes to get their gear.
Mhm.
I forgot this, or this guy can't do this. But you're also looking to get into the boxing world, not just for the retail person, not for the local guys, but so how do you balance that?
It's hard. It's very busy because we're the only store in North America. So we do orders for Canada, US, Mexico. And so it's busy. I try to go as much as I can. My partner, Kevin, he'll go and do a lot of the galas as well, like especially MMA. He's more into the MMA, and I'll do the boxing. And then we try to manage that. So like I'll come here, and so he'll go and attend the store while I'm gone, and then I go back, and he'll go back and do other things. We have a great thing going on. We have a great partnership going on, and it's passion and it's love. And if you couldn't do it if it wasn't.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing with boxing, right? Everybody. Boxing is a lot of love, and people say, my quote is for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Right. People, I'm.
Totally.
People, the boxing fans understand what boxing is, but people who are, fans from a distance that really don't understand the culture of the sport, right? So people say, "Oh, where are you fighting?" I'm fighting in. Oh, well, they must be made. I said, he's fighting for $2,000.
Yeah.
You're fighting for $3,000.
Yeah.
And then you got to do an 8-week camp, and they say, "Well," and I said, "This is not for." Like you, right? You're a musician. I made my living doing in the auto industry, not as a trainer, not as
Yeah.
it's for the love of the game.
It is.
Because if you break down the hours, right, like today, right, you're going with your family away, right, to see family, but in the interim, you're making stops for boxing.
Yep.
Different, to build relationships and to get the product out there.
And it's amazing. That's what I love doing. I set up my alarm to watch the Monster fight in Japan, at like 4 a.m. and my girlfriend goes, "Are you really getting up right now?" So I'm getting up.
Yeah.
I'm getting up. I have to watch it. It's the love of it, And this is the highlight of my trip. Is meeting you, talking to people about the game, and trying to bring Leone into their gym and try to say, hey, well, what can we do? This is what can we do to help you? That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
So how long have you guys been in Montreal now?
7 years. But we opened right before COVID.
Right.
So then COVID hit.
How did you sustain?
Online orders. That sustained it. Online orders.
But even COVID and everything at that time, boxing kind
it was
of
hard.
just like
there needed to be a bit of an injection of extra funds to keep the company afloat, which luckily Kevin, the owner, was able to do. And the work he's done to bring Leone where it's at right now in Montreal and starting to be everywhere else in North America it's incredible. It's work like passion, worked so hard,
Yeah. So, what was, being you guys are the only one, what was the dynamic to get Leone to say, okay, you had to go to them and say, look, we want to represent you. We want to be the distributor. We want to be your brand here in North America. Well, how did that come about, and how was it hard? Were they skeptical at first before?
I think it was fairly easy because one of the partners at the time was a Italian kickboxing champ that
Okay.
moved to Montreal.
So you had the relationship
So
already.
he had the relationship with Mr. Leone, and he brought the idea to my partner Kevin and said, "Hey, how about we? I think there's room for us here in the market, being such a great market." So they flew to Italy, had a meeting with Mr. Leone, and it started there. That's how it started, and they brought it. But Leone's not. They're not a franchise. Like, that's not what they want. Like, because we do get
No,
calls.
I that's my whole premise with
Yep.
you is like it seems like they're very selective, and you can tell by what they're producing, the product that they're producing.
That's right.
They're not worrying about mass producing a product and saying, putting our name on it like McDonald's, 1 billion
That's right.
served.
That's right.
So it seems like that dynamic is not something business is made on these days.
That's right. I know, and they're family orientated. You go there for a meeting, and like I was explaining, you have a espresso, you have a few hours of talking and this and that, and then you go for lunch. Then you have a break in the afternoon. You go back, eat, work a little bit, and then you eat and you talk. It's relaxed. It's family orientated. It's what can we do? Let's chill. They're not into building warehouses in every state to distribute to, no.
Right.
And it goes with the motto of their return policy. If something happens, send me an email, call me, text me, do whatever. I'll send you another one right away.
Yeah. So
No questions asked.
You're talking about a company that started 1947, started in the soccer end. How did they sustain in the boxing business so long, being under the radar, pretty much? Under the radar.
In Italy and in Europe, they're a massive company.
Yeah.
I've seen a few videos of some of the events that they do. It's like an arena, a hockey arena, filled with bags and these big shows. And I had no idea. I had heard the name Leone, and but I had no idea. So they never really had a plan to come to North America. Australia, they're doing well. Spain, they have a massive store in Spain, in Barcelona.
Really?
Yeah, it's incredible. You should see the store. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know, we were talking in Europe. I've been to Germany, and
Baffin's big there, yeah.
big in Europe, right?
Yeah,
And, prior to us talking, I did some looking in Leone, and not a lot of people. Now you're seeing more traction, I think. Obviously after Joshua, Serrano wore the gloves in the last fight.
That's right.
And her fight with Katie Taylor.
Katie was wearing them the first two fights, I think.
Yeah. So, you got some huge names there.
Fury, we just did a pair for Tyson Fury. We just sent him a pair.
Yeah, you're sending a pair for his comeback, right?
Yeah.
You're not soliciting these people. They're coming to you.
They're coming to us. Absolutely. They want to know, like, what's the deal here? And the response I've been getting is crazy, and I've seen it a few times. They put their hands in the gloves and they go, wow. Like, is this for real? Like,
well, the first
so
thing
it's pretty cool.
First thing you notice with your gloves is you smell the leather.
Oh, I know. You open the box,
you smell the leather,
I
right? So right off the rip, you know that. But you know as well as I do, you worked for other companies in the boxing business. The companies usually chase the fighter, right? So like if a fighter comes, like, oh yeah. Like a Tyson Fury, they're going to empty the shelves for him. Please take whatever. Maybe they wear them for one fight. Maybe they stay with you. But is it that, I kind of like assimilated to this, right? You're not out soliciting people. They're coming to you. And then once you get them, you got them.
Yep.
Is that the business plan for the future, you think? Or are you looking to put a top name, to your brand?
We're gonna let it play out. I work I like to meet people. I like to talk. I like to be at events. I like to, shake hands. And I will go up to someone and say, hey, you know what? If you're interested at all, I'll send you a pair. Try them out. Let me know what you think. That is something that we'll do, and no problem.
Right.
But mostly, yeah. The thing is, Leone, they believe in the their product and how it's made, and the whole old school family heritage. They're not keen on paying fighters to wear their gloves. There's companies that do it.
Yeah.
They're not keen on that. They don't want to do that. And I've had a few emailing me and calling me and asking for, here's what we're proposing to you for him to wear the gloves. And it's like, that's great. But you know what? I'll send you the gloves. That's not the problem. But I can't send you $100,000 check. It's,
Yeah. So let me ask you this, right? In today's world, I think it's a little easier. That business plan, right? I'll let me just 360 real quick, and we'll get back to it, right? When Nike first started, Phil Knight was at a sneaker show, and this is in the late 70s. He offered, Magic Johnson was going back and forth with Converse at the time.
Right.
Larry Bird just signed with Converse, right?
Right.
They were the big sneaker. Nike was just getting in. Phil Knight told him, I can give you $5,000 right now, and we'll make the shoe of your choice, but I don't have 100,000
Right.
that you were looking for. And that was the number, right? But I'll give you stock shares in the company,
Yep.
and we'll make the shoe, because Converse was going to make the shoe with Magic and his colors, because Bird got 75,000, Magic wanted 100,
Right.
which they ended up giving him. He didn't sign with Nike, but his shares would have been worth billions today.
The billions.
Okay, so back to your
Yeah.
criteria of giving guys money, we changed the dynamic in today because we have social media.
That's right. That's right.
So, like, okay, years ago, there were no, I had to pay you to wear the product. So,
That's
okay,
right.
I'm going to give you T-shirts, hence Nike, right? Now, Michael Jordan, Air Jordan. Wear the logo. Wherever you go, you're under contract, blah, 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 blah. It's your product.
Yep.
We're going to mass produce it. We're going to advertise it. And, you're going to help us make money with that. But today with social media, look, and I get it. There are fighters out there that, they need, first of all, fighters need gear. Whether you're a top level pro or a pro rising up. More so
That's
for
right.
the guys rising up because they're limited funds.
That's right.
They're limited funds. But with social media today, you can pretty much pick and choose who you want on your team.
It's true. Absolutely.
Because you can say, hey, okay, in exchange for gear, I want advertising. I want you to pump our product.
That's it.
I want you to wear it at a weigh-in. When you do an interview, I want you to do this. I think when you hand the check to some people, they don't realize what comes with it. And I don't think that's a sustainable plan sometimes,
That's
unless
right.
you're a ginormous billion-dollar company where it's just, okay.
Tax write-off.
Yeah. Or you know what? I'm going to gain maybe you play in the Super Bowl and you wear my shoes or for one game and billions of people see you.
That's right.
Now
That's right.
now they're taking it off. But now going into the boxing business, how do you sustain that now? Because you're out there knocking on doors, talking to gym owners. You're here today in Danbury. You're going to make a stop in Jersey. You're going to make a stop in Philadelphia. You're going to make a stop in Virginia while you're on your personal time.
On my personal time, I know. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of the company. I'm proud of what we offer. I want people to see it. I want people to know that there's another option for whichever, because there's lots of great gear out there. There's lots of good boxing gear, and we're part of that. And I think we're high up. So I want people to see it. I want people to use it and shake hands and meet new people, and that's it. And I always say, like, exactly, social media has changed everything, right? So tag Leone North America on it, and no problem. Here, we'll give you some, and try it out, and it helps us. It's like we're not buying a TV commercial, right? So that's what we're doing instead.
It's kind of, the proof is in the pudding, right? So that small restaurant that has 10 tables that You know, you got to fight to get a reservation to get in there. It's very
Yep.
unique and everything else like that. It's, you know, once you get there, it's like, wow, I had it. I don't want to do anything else. Where do you see the growth for your company as far as, look, combat sports across the line is very big right now, and you're doing MMA stuff also, which is huge and just. But you know, we see these athletes today more and more, right? They're just specimens. You know, boxing, whereas, you know, years ago, guys were in shape, but not like today. You know,
Not like
Anthony
today.
Joshua is a specimen.
Yeah.
You know, even Tyson Fury, as big as he is, how he can move and how he can punch. But where do you see your advancement in the sport for, you know, safety? You know, where is that brought along for you guys at Leone? Because I'm sure those are conversations. You know, headgear is becoming. You know, fighters are. You know, again, we talk about the gloves. You guys are making headgear and other protective gear for fighters. What is the technology now that you guys are looking at?
It's high-end stuff. The best that you could use that's not even required by the sanctioning bodies. We're using higher foam, higher leather, thicker than what is actually required. We're going to be soon with USA Boxing approved. And looking at the requirements, we're topping everything. You know, a half inch for this, we have 2 inches. Like there's so many variables that I noticed, and I was just like, wow, this is why I love this company so much. This is great. You know,
Yeah.
they really did it the best the first time.
Now, when you're noticing that, right? And look, I'm not naming other companies because that's not what I do. And look, everybody's entitled to do what they got to do.
Absolutely.
Are fighters noticing the difference in your gear when they come
Yep.
in and they say, look, here, you know, I use such and such, and why do you guys do this and everything else like that?
I noticed it, absolutely right away. Usually it's an instant thing. They notice it right away, and they'll send me a text or an email or even a phone call that after they used it at the gym going, oh my God, wow,
Right.
this is incredible. So it feels good. You go, okay, great, he's happy. That makes my day. You know,
Yeah.
my fighter's happy, good, perfect. You need anything, let me know.
So, you know, you made a mention of the sanctioning bodies in USA Boxing and everything else. Kind of talk us through, because look, to get gloves at that level is just not like, hey, I'm here,
Yeah.
here you go. How hard is it?
It's been a process. I started last year in, I think, late summer. But then everything sort of moved fast in the past few weeks. I was in contact with them in the home office in Colorado.
Yeah, for USA Boxing, right?
Yeah, and you know, they sent me the criteria, requirements, all the stuff that needed to be done, and sent that to Italy. And we looked at the gloves, our contest gloves, and it's like I said, it's so much. The requirement level is there and then some. And so now we're this week we sent gloves. They should be approved within the next couple of weeks, and then we're good to go.
What about at the professional level? You know, again, a lot of different brands out there. People have choices of what they want to wear. You know, a fighter calls you up and says, hey, I want to use Leone gloves. Is it automatic with the commissions that they can use that glove, or do you have to have approval from each commission to use your gloves?
No, it's approved in all the states.
So, okay.
Yeah, Canada as well. We're good to go now, pretty much anywhere. Yep.
Now, in Canada, national team using your gear?
No, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Same thing. When we get USA approved, it's also approved in Canada.
Yeah, but you're approved in Canada already
Yeah,
now,
and-
so that's
yeah.
like a prerequisite for
Yeah.
anybody else to say, hey,
That's right.
we're using it here.
It's coming. Yep.
What do you think, you know, the culture of boxing and everything else is today? You know, and look, you know, I think boxing you have to tie MMA in with.
Yep.
Correct? Whereas company years ago,
Didn't
they
do
don't. What do you think the intertwining is with
Well,
that.
see, this is what happened. That's why we're a little late in the game in the boxing, because we were for so many years. But then when the MMA started coming in, and kickboxing in Europe is still massive.
Right.
Leone sort of went into the MMA way. They started doing shin guards and elbow pads and all that stuff, and they became pretty big with that, and supplied Bellator MMA. We supply Samurai Montreal. Like they kind of figured that that's where the fight game was going. Boxing was sort of decreasing a little bit. It wasn't as popular. And a few years ago, 10-something years ago, they started to take boxing, brought back their boxing ideas back in the forefront, and that's why we're maybe a little behind right now with that here in North America.
But also, you know what we see on the boxing end, MMA in the beginning there weren't too many people producing gear for MMA here. So, and I don't know, I'm working with more MMA fighters. I see the gloves. I don't think some of them are really that great. I don't know the brands. They just don't feel it. They just feel like some sort of gloves that have been mass produced. There seems it's not like going to a boxing event where if you go to a title fight, there might be 5 companies of gloves. You might have Grants, Rivals, Everlast.
That's right.
Your company out there. Leone could be out there. And a fighter. I know Floyd loves to use Grant gloves. But you don't see that in MMA.
I know.
It's what they give you.
That's right. That's right.
And some of them are very hard. They're hard to get into. They're hard to maneuver on the hands today. But, being that, right, so where do you see you going in that end of the sport? Because that's just a whole nother realm.
It's growing. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The MMA portion of Leone for us in North America is half and half. It's 50-50 with boxing. It's crazy. And my partner Kevin, he's the one that does that a bit more, as far as I go to these galas and stuff and love it, but it's a big part of it. Like, we have different kinds of shin guards, and like it's great.
I saw the website. I saw
there's lots. We have lots, and the apparels too, like shorts, and we have so much stuff.
Now apparel, whole different entity. Like that. What, when the gear that you had and brought today is just, what is the thought? I mean, because like for me, what you're wearing right there is simple. It's just the name with the brand. Boom. It just says it out like that. Is that what they transferred also to the apparel end of it?
Classy, just a logo, nice clothes, simple.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's what they have for everyday fighter, for gym aerobics, whatever. There's so much stuff that we carry. It's crazy.
The competition. We were talking. Your working events. You were at the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua event, and what is the take on the competition out there when they see you now? Because I know, boxing, it is sometimes hard to crack through the door. Once you get through the door, you kind of in the world, but it takes a little bit to get in the door.
It does.
And, it does. What are you seeing out there as far as response from your competitors, that when you're out there?
Some good, some, not all.
Yeah, like everything else, right? People
not all good. Some people, you can see they're a bit kind of tickled by the fact that I'm there. They're not, what's he doing?
But it's a big market, right?
It is.
Let's look over the years. Besides Everlast, who started the game, right, when there was nobody around, okay? But other companies have evolved since then. Then you take the companies in Europe that people in the United States really don't know too much about because, unless they've been over there in combat sports in an event, then they would know. But you know what? It's a pretty niche market that there is, look, again, Nike, Converse, Adidas, everybody's
Puma,
Puma,
there's lots.
Everybody's taking a piece of the market,
That's right.
Nike doesn't own it.
That's right. There's lots of room. There's room for competition. Absolutely.
But
There's
you know,
lots of room.
competition also makes, you know, for better business.
That's right. Absolutely.
You know, and people want choices today. You know, people.
You'll never see a McDonald's standing alone on the street. There'll be a Burger King across the street,
yeah.
and there's, you know, it's.
They both strive.
That's right.
You know, they both strive like that. What do you think the future holds? Actually, let's go back to this before we go into that. Joshua, Jake Paul, you were at the event. What did you think of the event?
The event was what I expected it to be. Even more than that, it was a grand event. You know, with Jake Paul MVP Promotions, grand event. It was great. It was spectacular. There were good fights on the card. Pardon me. It was fantastic. The Jake Paul Joshua fight is exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know, people were saying first round knockout. Nah, I don't think so. It's gonna be a show. You know, but eventually it will happen. You know. And it was great. It was awesome. It was great. Everybody there was awesome, and it was such a great event.
What are your thoughts from a fan perspective of Jake taking that fight with Anthony?
On a promotion side of it, or not promotion, but yeah, promotion side of it, and wanting to sell tickets and trying to make a big thing happen. He did it. I don't think it would have been sanctioned in any other boxing commissions. Like
New York or Vegas would have never sanctioned. Atlantic City would have never sanctioned that.
Joshua walked right beside me to go to the ring, and I was just like,
it's massive.
This is unbelievable. Like,
massive.
He's unbelievable. You know, and Jake Paul's not a tiny guy, but he's not Anthony Joshua.
He's not Anthony.
So, I mean, it like I said, it played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. Stay away from his right hand, and once you get hit with it, well, fight's going to end.
Yeah, I mean,
basically,
I give a lot of people ask me what I thought. Look, boxing is promotion. Without shows like that, the thing is like, okay, because we go back to your culture in Montreal. Montreal is a hardcore culture.
Yep.
You could walk into a bar or restaurant, majority of the people know something about boxing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Here it's a little different. People speculate. They don't really know, you know. So, I get what Jake is trying to do. He's trying to put on a show, sell tickets.
Yep.
He's done a great job because he's brought boxing to Netflix where everybody can watch it.
That's right.
Not us hardcore fans. Like, you're going to get up at 4 o'clock. You're going to watch it on your phone. You're going to watch it on your computer. Wherever you can find a fight that you want to watch, you're going to find it.
That's right.
The hardcore guy, right?
Yep.
Everybody has Netflix. So you know what? They're going to tune in.
Yep.
They already got it.
Yep.
Right? I give him credit for stepping in the ring.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because, of his background, people don't realize this, right? He is behind the curve. And what I mean about that is he has a limited amateur background, ring experience, ring IQ. He's learning on the fly.
Absolutely.
And he's working hard at it. I give him credit because he doesn't have to get out of bed.
Yep.
He's well off.
Yep.
So, he don't have to fight a guy like Anthony Joshua.
He did it. And it's kudos to him and all the props and credit to him, because getting in the ring with Anthony Joshua, man, it's and what he's done for women's boxing alone, just that.
Well, that's another
it's
aspect.
A whole other
That's
thing.
another aspect right there. He's making a mark. And what I like what he's doing with women's boxing, right? He's signing women fighters, but they're fighting each other.
That's right.
They're fighting for the ring.
Yep.
You know what? Like, okay, if I sign you and you're 5-0 and you're 5-0, I don't care. You're with my promotion. You guys are gonna fight. You guys are gonna fight. We're gonna see.
That's right.
Who gonna move up? And I mean, look.
That's great.
That card he did. Look, the 3 fights between Serrano and Taylor. I was at the first fight in the Garden. I mean, one of the best boxing matches. And people say, well, I said, listen, I'm telling you, that was one of the best boxing matches I saw.
Yeah, it's for me on TV was that and Wilder 3, Fury 3.
Yeah.
Like but Serrano Taylor won
Unbelievable fight.
On the edge of my seat, like it was unbelievable.
And then, you go to Ireland and you put 80,000 people in the seats.
Yeah,
80,000 people.
that's incredible.
And I don't want anybody getting mad
Yeah,
for a woman's fight.
yeah.
Those are hardcore people.
That's,
All
yeah.
hardcore fans over there.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So they're coming out, and both those women have talent. And that's the other thing, women's game gets talent. So, real quick,
Yep.
Amanda wore your gloves.
Yep.
How'd that come about?
I'm not sure. I think they contacted us.
Okay.
They were inquiring about it, and they worked with the team in Italy, and then we got the noticed. I think it was 3 days before the fight. Taylor Serrano, she was going to wear the gloves, and I remember Kevin telling me, he's like, "So guess what?" And he shows me a picture, and I was like, "Oh,
Were there any special requirements
what
on her
happened?"
gloves?
No, not that I know of. Not that I know of. But she absolutely loved the gloves, and she was very impressed by them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish she would have punched a bit more, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. I get
Different
it.
strategy.
Yeah, different strategy. If you had a wish list,
Mm-hmm.
who would you want your gloves being worn by right now?
Right now,
Yeah.
that's tough. Oh, there's a few. There's a few. Tiafimo. I like that. See Tiafimo with a good pair of Leone. I like Tiafimo. I like. Geez, I don't know. Canelo's last fight. Nice pair of Leones.
It's hard. It's you know what? So I was there, right? I was in
Yeah.
California, right? When he fought Mangaya. So
Yeah.
we were training with Frank Sanchez, and his trainer was training Frank, right? So we're in the gym,
Yep.
and it's 50 pairs of shoes, 50 pairs of gloves. The gloves that he makes his brand there.
No boxing, no life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just, every day he's putting on a different pair of shoes. Every day he's wearing a different
It's crazy.
pair. Eddie's got mitts. Actually, Eddie was supposed to give me a pair of mitts, but I ended up leaving before. But it's crazy with him. He's got a brand that the mitts they're a little lean
Yeah.
for me. Especially with a guy like him who's punching. I don't know how Eddie uses the mitts
Yeah.
all the time with him, but I don't know, different feel
Yeah.
than
Never tried
anything else out there. But you don't see that brand out there too much.
No,
either.
you don't. Yeah.
Maybe if you're in Mexico, you can get it, but
Probably a bit better, a bit easier, but
yeah, but maybe him to punch in them.
yeah. But Bud, I would have liked Bud to wear Leone, and I spoke with Bomac.
Yeah,
A little bit, and Bomac wanted me to send him some stuff, and I was like, really?
yeah.
This is great. And then when it came to,
But he's under contract.
that's right. I was like, because I felt like he's Everlast. Like, what's
Yeah, he's Everlast.
But he was inquiring to me about it, but it never turned out to be anything.
Well,
but
the
it
difference,
would have been
the
nice.
difference with some of them is, and that I could see, you, like for me, from a coach or as a fighter, okay, why wouldn't you want to know what your hand's going into before the fight?
Absolutely.
So when they lay those fights on the table, right, and you're
Absolutely.
trying this on and you're trying this on, look, some of the small shows you fight, whatever they put there, you have no choice.
Right.
But if you're fighting for a title and there's choices out there, not all gloves are alike. You can see, and you can see, I'm not naming anybody's name because I got to use these people too, and they're going to be
Yep.
on the table at some point.
Yep.
Now, I'm not looking to piss anybody off. But some of those gloves are not good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with you. I've seen gloves that I'm just like, this is actually dangerous. So,
And I'll
it's
tell
like-
you off screen, we were at a fight, and I had a heavyweight, and, wrapped his hands and everything else, and he's a big heavyweight, and the gloves they gave him seemed smaller than they should be to fit in.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling the inspectors, if he can't get his hand in this glove, and I'm not rewrapping them, number one, because you watched me and signed off on them. So you better go find another pair of gloves because we're not going to fight.
Wow.
We ended up getting them in,
Yeah.
but it was just,
Borderline.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, like, I would want to know from my fighter, like, okay,
yeah.
the gloves are already, like, I've fought in those. I know how they feel. I'm going to be comfortable with that.
And you won't see them, at the weigh-in for the first time. You'll know the gloves. We'll send you a bunch of pairs to work out in and so you'll know exactly what you're getting.
So, real quick, right, on that point, guy calls you up, says, David, we're fighting for the W, whatever title, right? I want Leone gloves, right, for my fighter.
Yep.
Will the fighter have the opportunity to almost hand make those gloves?
Absolutely.
So when they're either a prior fitting to know that when those fight gloves are on the table, they're the same gloves that he man made?
Absolutely. Like, big fighters and yep, absolutely.
So you got a busy couple of days.
Yeah.
Going through. You're making some stops out here. You're going to take some personal time out. What do you see the future for your company? You and Kevin. What are,
grow, going like this right now, and we don't want it to slow down. We're happy with everything that's going on. We're meeting new people every day.
Can you sustain the personal level in this business world today?
Yep.
Right? With the cost of doing business, because look, storefront, travel, there's cost of doing business. Yep. You're giving stuff away, you're putting the product out there, try it, whatever it is. Is that sustainable for the future with Leone?
100%. 100%, because it's the way the market is, and the more it grows, we just get busier in some of the time offs or the periods that were during the day that, we're kind of just not doing much. We'll fill those hours. Perfect.
Right.
It takes a good work ethic and dedication, and just I'm not working. I'm enjoying my life.
Right.
I'm not pouring concrete all day long.
Right. You're not 9 to 5 it. And that's the great dynamic about boxing, right?
Yeah.
There is a lull. But when fights come, they come fast and furious, and we don't know. Like, it's not a prepared business plan to say, okay, it might be because you might have 5 fighters saying, hey, David, I'm fighting in March, I'm fighting in April, I'm fighting in May, I'm fighting in June. Okay, so now I got a target. But then what boxing is that calls, hey, I need gloves next month. I need gloves next week.
Yep.
I need gloves in 2 weeks. It could really catch wildfire like that.
And that's why we have a great team, and we're a family. In Italy, I pick up the phone, call Ronaldo, and say, okay, so this is what's going on. Okay, let me hold on. Send me an email of the hand traced or what color, and we all work as a team and we get it done. And what's
the response from the Leone family of the what they're starting to see here at a real high level of boxing? Their name out there now.
They're excited. They're super excited. We always end our conversations on text, Ronaldo and I, we're Team Leone, we're doing this together. This is so great, It's exciting, for them, because they're huge boxing fans and they've been in the game their whole lives. So now they're, sending gloves to whoever. They get so excited about it,
I mean, the response that they have in Italy must be huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's really, really cool. And it's fun because of that. Like, I can't imagine being in a different company where, hey, I call and say, this guy approached me for a pair of gloves. Oh, that's great, David. That's great. I'll send you gloves right away. It's like, oh, really? Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
They're so they're pumped. So I could only see it getting better and busier, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you guys. When I first spoke to you, and actually, it's funny. I spoke to Kevin because we called the store right prior, and it was like because he picked up the phone. I'm like, Really? Actually, it was Dr. Mike who called Kevin. We were in the car. So
Okay.
let's call the guys.
Yeah.
I said, Mike, they're not going to
I
pick
know
up.
we pick up. I know.
Because I didn't realize it was a retail location at
Yeah.
that point, right? And, yeah, spoke to him and then obviously speaking to you. And now you're here. You can see that. And look, I've been around a while, and I think it's important for coaches to have a relationship with somebody, especially for their fighters, because fighters
Absolutely.
have to be comfortable, and like, look, I get the dynamic today. Business is expensive. Can't be giving away the house all the time. It's got to be a 50-50 game here. The fighter's got to help the company. Company can help the fighter.
That's right.
All within reason, right? Where it makes sense. But, we're not seeing that anymore.
Yep.
And I grew up doing business like that. I grew up around people who did business like that. It was like, yep, did it on a handshake. Okay, we said what we did. Yep, you want that? We're gonna send it to you. It's a good product, or we're gonna stand by it. And we're not seeing that anymore.
I know, and it's sad. It's sad that we don't see that.
But also, like, the importance part of this is combat sports, so people's lives are on the line.
That's right.
They're not playing tennis. Not to take away from that, but a glove, a guy takes an injury or a head injury in training, it could cost him his career. It could cost millions of dollars there. So,
Absolutely.
You have a vital part again, right? This is boxing, right? It's not just the fighter, right? There's coaches. There's people behind the scenes at every level of this sport doing things. Comes back to one thing, though, that you said, right? It's a passion,
It is.
right? And, look, it's great if we can make a living doing what we do, right, with our passion. But it is for more the love of the game that draws us here, because we don't wake up and say, well, fighters probably do. Floyd woke up in his family, and he knew from day one he was going to be a professional fighter. It's in his DNA. But most people who grow in the sport, I was doing this before. I was doing this before. Now, here I'm in the gym 30 years later, and I'm still in the game. I put it like, it's days I want to quit, and it's like, then you're back at it the next day.
Yeah. Retirement? What's that?
Nah, there's no. Listen,
No such
listen.
thing.
Honestly, like you, the gym is my happy place, right?
Yep.
Like, you saw I sit in my office after training, have my coffee, I'll work out of there, I'll have my little sanctitude. If that day comes that I'm not happy going in there, is the day that I'm going to stop.
That's right. I've done that my whole life. I do everything with this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's, I get hurt.
Well, listen, that's one thing in this sport. When you do from the heart, you're going to get hurt.
That's right.
But if you continue to do from the heart, it's then going to end up pay off, because there are people out there that do from the heart. Maybe not as many as there were back in the day, because it takes a lot. It takes a village to help a fighter.
Absolutely.
It takes a village,
Absolutely.
not just a guy writing checks saying, "Here you go." We're half psychiatrists, half mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, uncles, cousins. But
what fighters go through is still something that it's so impressive to me. They get in, they do a training camp, how many weeks? They all year long. Sometimes some of them have jobs during the day.
yeah,
And they go into a fight. It doesn't go their way. They lose. See them in the back and they're crying. It's like, the first time I saw that, I was just devastated. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The guy watching on TV is like, come on, hit. They're hugging. They're not. Oh my God. Do you know what this guy went through?
they don't also realize how hard.
It's
it looks
insane.
easy because
It looks easy.
everybody says but you're right. Well, look, I've had fighters live with me, right? 8-week, 10-week camps. Living in my house, and my kids would be like, they're used to it by now. We're up at 4:30, 5 o'clock running, right? Working jobs, blah blah blah, back and forth. It's 3 a days, right? And you'll see a kid, lose a fight, and for me, I might say, well, you win fights, you're supposed to lose. You lose fights, you're going to win. You're supposed to win. That's boxing, right? As long as you trained and left it all out there, really, okay, we lost. Back to the drawing board. But if you don't give it your all, if you don't put every bit of energy into that one opportunity, because it might be the last, it might be more, you don't know how your world's going to change.
That's
But
right.
You got to put it all in. and it's the people around you that got to bring that energy too. It's a hard dynamic because in today's society, people are looking for monetary gains. I understand that, right? But this is not the sport that you're going to walk in and say, what can I make?
Yeah. No.
Because the guys who are really making it at the top are the one percenters.
That's right.
You know, that's the
right.
cream of the crop up there. That's the best. That's what everybody's striving for, right? I say it's like golf, right? We play golf, right? I play golf. The one percenters are the guys that make all the money that we watch on TV. We're all just chasing the ball, looking to be maybe that minute of greatness or that great round or whatever the case may be. So, boxing, there is a lot of dynamic, but I really appreciate you taking the time out, coming down here. I look forward to really working with you in the future because, look, guys, the product is a great product. And if you haven't tried it out, you need to maybe get on the phone, send David an email, go to their website, look at the stuff. It's definitely worth a look. If you're a fighter, a trainer, somebody coming up, the product is definitely something to be reckoned with in the future. Tell us where we can find you on social media and where we can contact you if
Leone North America on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. The website is www.leonenorthamerica.com. And you can call us anytime and email, or everything's on the website.
And you know what? They answer the phone.
Yeah, we do.
So, believe it or not, they answer the phone. And that's why David's here. I mean, look, he's heading to Florida with his family. And you know what? He made a stop here to do a quick podcast, say hello, which I really, really appreciate here. But, people, this is just another part of boxing right here. This is just another person and another team of people behind the sport of boxing, which makes this sport great. It's people like David and Kevin at Leone right now that care. They care about fighters. They care about what their product is. The Leone family in Italy, the product that they're putting out, they're not mass producing some crap. It is, when you see the box and the gloves, if you order a pair, it's phenomenal. And I'll be posting stuff up with some of their gear and some of the stuff that David was so gracious to bring us today, and we really appreciate that. But give them a look. But once again, to me, the boxing world is many different people, not only fighters. There's a lot of people in this community that are doing great things, that for the love of the game. So, once again, I want to thank my sponsors. Farmer Strength, Hummus Fit. We're going to throw Leone in there right now because look for some good collaborations between us in the future here. My guy Paul at PG Sports here, Champs Boxing, AJ Galante and the team over there. Once again, it's Coach Dave McDonough. Train hard, train smart, and we'll see you in the next round.